we see what are the unit operations which are place of the processes in the secondary treatment. Okay. So this secondary treatment, it is to be aerobic or it may be the anaerobic one. Okay. First, we will talk on the aerobic process and especially the biological wastewater treatment. What is the principle of biological wastewater treatment? Okay. So first, see the principle of biological wastewater treatment. We are just taking the various terms which is related to the secondary treatment. Okay. The first in the previous lecture we learn about what are the primary and secondary treatment and what are the unit operations which is carried out for the primary and secondary one. Okay. And now we go inside what exactly happen in the secondary treatment. So whether if you want to treat a biological waste which having the more organic matter present, and again if we take the help of the microorganisms, and for that one what exactly happening in that process, so that the organic matter is converted into the simple organic one, then we will see about what is the rate, what will be the rate of the decomposition or the treatment of the organic waste. Okay. So first we will see about the principle of biological wastewater treatment. So in the biological wastewater treatment, what happened, we are taking a help of microorganisms which are decomposing the waste and especially the organic waste. I'm not talking say that there is a the microorganisms are not decomposed the inorganic. Yes, it can be, but that type of the microorganisms are required. Furthermore, we will see about the detail about what type of the microorganisms are present and all. But here, first we will look about the growth of microorganisms. So for any biological wastewater treatment, there is required microorganisms, but again there should be a growth of it. That is very important because when there is a growth of microorganism takes place, then only there is a decomposition rate increases. It means initially when you feed say for example 100 microorganisms, now these 100 microorganisms have the capacity, have their own capacity. Okay. So further, if the organic matter which are present, that is to be decomposed, and if they fulfill or their the food is over, they don't want more food, then obviously we need a new microorganisms to be there so that all this can be consume the organic matter. So here the growth of microorganisms is very important first thing in the wastewater treatment, biological wastewater treatment. So the first principle, the growth of microorganisms, and the second is the rate at which the substrate will be utilized with respect to time. So rate is again the important. Otherwise, what happen if you have microorganisms, the growth is good, but the rate is not. Then again, you require more time for the decomposition of it, to conversion of the waste into the simple format. Okay. So here the growth as well as the rate is very important part in the biological wastewater treatment. So this is, so we can say that the biological wastewater treatment is depend on what is the growth of the microorganism, and it is depend on what is the rate of decomposition of the organic matter. Okay. So that is to be, we can say that this can be utilized to reactor employed and environmental conditions. Okay. Now all these terms are depend on other factors which is we call the environmental conditions. It means the growth and the rate. These two factors are more important, and these two factors are depend on what is the type of the reactor. Okay, I repeat it. The growth of microorganisms and the rate is very important in a biological wastewater treatment. And for the same thing, same time, these two, the growth and the rate is depend on what is the type of the reactor, whether it is an activated sludge type, open pond, whether it is a trickling type, means there is a packing material, whether it is a movable one. So that is the rate is depend as well as the growth is depend, as well as the environmental conditions. Already we seen that how the growth is affect. Okay, the environmental condition, if the temperature is maintained between 20 to 25, it will be okay for the microorganisms to be grow. But if it is a less than that one, or if it is a more than that one, then it is very difficult for the microorganisms to grow. They are not forming a new cell because They want to sustain that particular atmosphere. If the wastewater which having the very acidic one, again it is not possible the microorganisms to survive. Okay, if there is no oxygen, till there is a problem to survive. Okay, so there are the some environmental conditions we call. Okay, so this is the on which the biological wastewater treatment is depend. Now let's see what happened in a batch process. Now if we have a batch process, means we place wastewater into the tub, and we place a microorganisms batch into it, and now we wait for a certain time. And then in that case, what exactly happening? Does the microorganisms grow? What will be the rate of grow? How they initially grow? Which is the phase which is given the stable? Because in that one, definitely when any microorganisms form a new cell, then there is a certain lifetime or life period. Okay. After that one, what happened? It will be that microorganisms will be die. So the microorganisms form a new cell, utilize the organic as a food, grow themselves, again generate a new cell, and after a sometimes it will be the die. Now after the die, definitely that dead body of that microorganisms, we as a we can say it is a mass, or we can say that is a substrate, or it is a waste. Though it is a simple one, but yes, it is available there in the wastewater. So there is a continuous accumulation of this mass into the reactor. Okay, there is a continuous generation of the new cell, but again there is a limit because it is a batch process. So if it is a batch process, okay, if it is a batch process, then what happened? Initially the growth of microorganisms is high. After a sometimes, what happened? There is no food availability in it because it is a batch process. Already you dump the wastewater, the organic matter, and whatever be the food which is there, only that is limitation. We are not adding extra food from the outside one in the batch process. So what happened to the microorganisms? Initially they form a new microorganisms, and after that one they will die. So some of the microorganisms they get food, and continuous that processes happen, new cell is formed and they are dying. And the one step come that when there is no food there, in that case we call that is the indigenous growth. Means themselves they are taking the food, they utilize their energy to live, but yes, after sometimes it will be die. So here we are classify the growth of microorganisms in four phases. Okay, the first we are dividing that in the batch process, the microorganism growth, how the microorganisms are growing in a batch process. Okay, so we divided in a four phases. What are that four phases? The first phase is log growth phase, second is the decline growth phase, third is the stationary phase, and the fourth is the indigenous growth phase. So we divide the growth of microorganisms under the batch process in four phases, which are log growth, decline growth, stationary phase, and the indigenous growth phase. Okay, let's see one by one what exactly mean by the log growth phase, what is the decline growth phase, stationary phase, and the indigenous growth phase. Yes. So this is one graph. Yes. This is one graph. It's showing we draw this graph the time versus mass of the microorganisms. We draw this graph, what is the time and the mass of microorganism. Okay, now you see here the one curve. Okay, the solid curve show like this one, and another is the dotted curve. Okay, show this one, and this is again the BOD. So the one graph it is showing the mass of the microorganisms, and another graph, I mean dotted graph, it shows the BOD one. Okay, what is the value of BOD? Fine. So what happened at the initial stage, and which is we divided a log growth phase, means this portion up to the up to this. Okay. So this is
Yes, sir.
portion. Yes.
Yes, sir.
This is the
कळालं.
portion where we call it is the log growth phase. Now, what happened in the initial stage once the microorganisms we place into the batch process, then they initially they consume the food, and then initial stage they make energy themselves, energy they get a energy from the food. Okay, so that we call it is a growth phase. Means the growth themselves, they are growing themselves in this phase. Okay, it means though the food is lots of food is available, so they consume the food and they are growing. That is called a log growth phase. After that one, what happened in the next phase? In the next phase, decline growth phase. Means again, whatever be the rate at initially, it will be the decline as time goes. So at this time, up to this time, we call it as a log growth phase. After this one, this is a decline growth phase. Means there is the rate of growing of the microorganisms or new cell formation, it will be decline in this phase. But after the decline phase, there is a stationary growth phase. So after that one, there is a this is called a stationary growth phase. Here you see the mass generation, because we are looking for the mass of microorganisms. So mass generation in this phase is almost constant. Means after that there is no grow of the microorganisms, as well as there is no microorganisms die in this phase. Okay, or if that is the rate, it will be the same. Means the if say the 100 number of cells are formed, means 100 odd number of cells get died. So we call that is we call this is the stationary phase. And after that one, it will be the endogenous phase. So that after that phase we call it is the last phase is the endogenous phase, this one. And again here what happened, they are utilize the energy, means the microorganisms utilize the energy for grow or for life, for not we can say grow, for the life. And after that one it will decay, because there is no chance to the microorganisms to live. So here if you look at the mass of microorganisms in this phase, definitely it will be the goes down. Means if initially stage you see here, as you grow um, if you grow in this phase, at this time there is continuous increase in the mass of the microorganisms. And when the mass of microorganism increases, it means that the continuous a new cell is formed. Means the formation of the new cell. Okay, formation of the new cell is more than the formation of death of the microorganisms. So here the maximum growth of the microorganism taking place. Okay, and this phase. And if you look at this graph, another dotted graph, this one, what it shows, BOD. What is the initial value of the BOD? It is high at this 0 point. If you say at this point, how much? It is almost high. But as it will go time consumed, then what happens? There is a continuous decrease in the BOD. And here is almost, you see this graph is almost touches the 0 1 as the time goes, because there is a continuous consumption of the organic matter by the microorganisms. And the maximum rate, if you see, then the maximum rate you will get at this phase, in the log growth phase. That's why we call it as a log growth phase. The second time you again see here, there is a decline in the BOD, and this is the decline in the growth phase, just because almost the organic matter get consumed. And here is the stationary, and after that one endogenous one, means there is a reduction in the mass. So this is the curve. If you see, then we can say that continuous up to this point, there is a increase in the mass of the microorganisms. Then up to this phase, it is a constant one, and then it goes down, and definitely somewhere here that it will come, because after that one there is continuous decreasing the mass of it. There is no formation of the new cell at this section because they are decaying, because there is no chances of the food present in it, and they themselves either use their energy or they may be the die. Okay, so this is the growth of microorganisms under the batch process. Now what happened in the continuous process? Does the we got a same graph what we see here? Okay, if you see the graph, it will be like this one. But does we get a same graph if the process is continuous? If such type of the graph we get, then definitely it is very difficult for us to giving a treatment to the wastewater, because here there is always formation of the new cell in the process. Otherwise, what happened? If all the microorganisms which are present are get died after some days, then what happens? There is no chances of the process takes place, because once no microorganisms means no consumption of food, means there is no decomposition of the organic matter. So as in the batch process, we see the growth of the microorganisms. Okay, we are talking about how the microorganisms are grow in it. After that one, we will look about the continuous system. What happened in a continuous system? So in the continuous system, we always maintain the ratio which we call F by M, which is microorganisms, food to microorganisms. So you can refer this one as a FM. It is food to microorganisms ratio. If we can maintain the food to microorganism ratio, then the process is continue. It means we are give the input of the influent into the process tank, and we get a result and we get an output from the effluent. And as we are continuously giving a food to the microorganisms, there is a continuous formation of the microorganisms, because we are maintaining the food to them, as well as we are maintaining the growth of the microorganisms too. Because if it is a excess growth of the microorganisms, then what happens? There is a excess mass accumulate in the reactor. So just like there is a continuous, if you give the more food, then the more microorganisms are present. And again, the capacity of the reactor, you have to take the capacity of the reactor. If there is a continuous generation of the mass, then it will be very difficult for the reactor to handle it. So here in the continuous system, what we do, we always try to maintain this ratio. We always try to maintain this ratio. This is very important. Okay, why we are maintaining? Just because to control the rate of metabolism, to control the rate of metabolism. Second part, what happen if we have a low F by M ratio? What happen if there is a high F by M ratio? Now if low means food food received into the reactor is less and the microorganisms are more, then there is a no availability of the food, and in that case what happens? There is a indigenous growth of the microorganisms takes place. What is happen in the indigenous growth of microorganisms? They utilize the energy themselves, or they are they are died in between, and they just take the energy from that dead microorganism, or of that the mass of that microorganisms. But yes, that is the process where there is no formation of the new cell, because most of the energy they utilize to live themselves rather than to decompose it. Why? Because there is no food, means no organic matter present in it. Okay, so such phase we call it is a low FM, means food available is lower, and because of that there is an indigenous growth of the microorganisms takes place. Now the reverse case, what happened if there is a high FM ratio? Is it useful for us? Then in that case what happened? If the food available is abundant, then hence the growth phase is a log growth phase. Growth phase is log growth phase. And we know that in a batch process, when we are taking a batch process and we are just monitoring how the growth of microorganism takes place in the growth phase, then what happens? First phase is the log growth phase, where there is a high rate of new cell, high rate of new microorganisms are formed. They are produced, or the high rate of production of the microorganisms in the log growth phase. And ultimately what happens in such situation? The excess load on the reactor, on the process tank. Why? Because when there is an excess amount of the microorganisms grow, there is a more mass concentration in this tank. If you look at the growth, the graph, in this case, if you see this graph, then what happened here? You see here, mass is continuously increase up to this one, and there is a more rate of mass transfer, mass concentration in this space. Okay, because there is a continuous growing of the microorganisms, and in the continuous process, what we try to do, we always try to choose this type of the growth, a stationary one. There should be make the ratio between the food and the microorganisms, and there is a stationary growth of the microorganisms, means the 100 number of new cell form, 100 number of new cells died, sorry, 100 number of new cell form and 100 number of the microorganisms get died. So if that we maintain, and that can be maintained on the basis of how I can give a food. Food means the organic matter, the concentration of the organic matter, that we call it is a substrate. Again, another word, it is a substrate. Okay. So here, if you see in this case, for the high FM, there is a log growth phases happen. So when there is a log growth phases happen, okay, when there is a high F by M ratio, then there is a log growth phase is there. So excess new generation of the microorganisms can be takes place. So we always prepare, if the range is in between the low to high, then there is what happen, a decline growth phase is there. Okay, between the low to high, if you say, then it is a decline growth phase. So we always try to maintain this FM properly. So there should not be high or there should not be low. Fine. You see this graph, okay, that is for the continuous process. So what happened there in a continuous process? So here it is say that a biological reactor typically operated at decline growth phase. Means we always operated that reactor, we call it a biological reactor, at decline growth phase or endogenous growth phase with a sufficient amount of the FM ratio, so that the microorganism's mass is at least constant and no depleting. So in the stable one and in the indigenous growth, what happens? Mostly we call it is a decline growth phase. So if you look at that graph, from that one we can easily understood what happened there. Here you see that this is the decline growth phase and stationary. You see there is almost the stable things are happening. Okay, and if you see the part between this to this one, okay, so this phase we always try to prepare. Okay, so that there is no high excess growth, and that is to be stable, and that can be stable if we can maintain the ratio of F by M. Fine. So in the continuous process, what we do, we always try to operate our plant or the reactor. It is between the decline growth phase and the endogenous growth phase of the microorganisms with sufficient amount of the FM ratios, so that the microorganism mass at least constant and there is no depleting. It will not increase or it will not decreases. So if you see, this is the one of the graph, okay, that we have taken to say what will be the if the food to microorganism ratio. We are taking the concentration of the food and the concentration of the mass of the microorganisms. And the y-axis, it is given the rate of the metabolism. And if we draw the graph, then you see here the first phase, we call it is endogenous phase. The first, if it is, we maintain this ratio F by M. As we increase the ratio, then what happen? This is particular case where there is an endogenous phase. Then this is a decline growth phase, and then there is a log growth phase. It means if F by M ratio is less than, okay, or we can say it is low, okay. If it is low, then there is a formation of the endogenous phase, which we don't want, because in this case what happened, there is what we call sorry, no, that phase we always prepare, okay, though it is a low one, but yes, 1 second, I just repeat that part. Here low means there is an endogenous growth phase, yes, right, correct. So the microorganisms in the endogenous phase means there is a decline the mass of the microorganisms, okay. And if it is this particular case, okay, if you see this one, okay, then if see the F by M ratio is high, is high, so in such cases what happen, log growth phase is there, means the extra mass is generated of microorganisms. So what we do, we always prepare so what we do, we always prepare this phase, decline growth phase, okay, or we say here it is operated between the range of the endogenous phase and the decline phase, means up to this ratio, okay, up to this ratio we can operate our plant. Are you getting my point? So this is very important, because when if you want to design any ETP plant, that time we have to decide what will be the F by M ratio, what will be the initial concentration of the substrate, what will be the final concentration of the substrate, what is the capacity of the plant, which type of the microorganisms that we need to treat that particular wastewater, okay. So all this to be considered in the design part, so this is very important to learn it. After that one, let's look at what are the nutritional requirement for the microbial growth. So see the what is the requirement. Nutrition is very important. When we call the organic matter, does it only require only the organic matter? It means that the H and C. Apart from this, they may be required some inorganic material too, as we don't require only the fat or the protein, but as well as we require some irons, minerals. So that is the requirement of our body. But yes, the concentration will be less, but we require. Same thing for the microbial growth, as we are depend on the microorganisms. The health of the microorganism should be good. The growth should be high. Then only there is a treatment takes place. And for that one, let's look at what are the sources of it. What is the nutritional requirement? The first, for the reproduction and the proper functioning of the organisms, it must have, as it is say that for the reproduction and the proper functioning of the microorganisms, the one is the source of energies is very important. Carbon for the synthesis of the new cellular material, this is required. And nutrients which is required is this one. It may require nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, sulfur, the iron, calcium, magnesium, everything is required. Just like a human beings, the microorganisms too, they require this type of the nutrients. Okay. So we can classify this So we can classify the microorganisms on the basis of it. How we classify it? First, whether it is a phototropes, chemotropes, and the source of carbon. What? First answer is yes. The microorganisms require some nutrition so that for the product reproduction and the proper functioning of it, and the material which is what they want source of energy. They need a energy for growing, for decomposition of the organic material, for consumption of that organic material. They need some carbon. That is one of the requirement. Obviously it will get from the organic material. Also they need some inorganic one. In that one we need this type of the inorganic material for growing of the microorganisms. So let's for next thing we have to see the classification of the microbes. So microbes are classified on the basis of phototropes, chemotropes, and the source of the carbon. Let's see one by one what exactly the meaning of it. So what do you mean by phototropes? Phototropes means light. Photo is the light. Okay. So some of the organisms are able to use the light as an energy source. Means they utilize or they take the energy from the light itself directly. So this may be the heterotropic, some certain sulfur reducing bacteria, or autotropic, some photosynthetic bacteria like bacteria and algae. Okay. So what do you mean by phototrop? Phototrops means they are taking energy from the light. Now these microorganisms we can again divide it as it may be the heterotropic or it may be the autotropic. Now what is the heterotropic? Means either they take directly from the photosynthetic one, or they take the energy from the sulfur reducing, from the utilization of some inorganic material, the heterotrophs. Okay. While the autotropics, they are only depend on the light, such like a photosynthetic bacteria and algae. Some of the bacteria may be utilize the photo light as well as other source. That's why we call it the heterotropics. And some of only use the photo as the light, and that we call it is a photosynthetic bacteria and algae. These are the examples of it. So okay, so we can say heterotrophs and autotropic in the phototrophs. Second is the chemotrophs. Now what is chemotrophs? This chemotrophs is the organisms which are derive the energy from the chemical reaction. So this energy, we take the source of energy is the light here in the phototrophs. In the chemotrophs itself, it says there is a chemical reaction is going on, and they take the energy from the chemical reaction. Okay. So again further they can divide it as a heterotropics or the autotropics. Now what is the heterotropics? These may be the either those derive energy from the organic matter. So in the chemotrophs, if they take energy from the chemical reaction and from the organic matter, such type of we call it the heterotropics, like a protozoa, it may be the fungi, or it may be the most of the bacteria. If it is autotropic, then they are only that is likely the nitrifying bacteria, nitrification reaction. Okay. Now another is the chemoheterotrophs. Now what do you mean by chemoheterotrophs? These are the from these chemotrophs. So either we say the heterotropics or autotropics, and these chemotrophs again we can say it is chemoheterotrophs. It means those derive the energy from the oxidation of the organic compound. As we define the heterotropic means it is they take the energy from the organic matter. Okay, they take the energy from the organic matter, and the autotropic means that's why we call it is chemoheterotrophs. And the another part it is chemoautotrophs. Now what is chemoautotrophs? Those obtain the energy from the oxidation of the reducing inorganic compounds such as ammonia, nitrite, sulfate, zinc and all. Okay. And the lastly one is it is a source of carbon. Now this is again source of carbon means what? The source of carbon for the synthesis of new cell could be organic matter. So again it will be divided in the heterotropics, or it is a carbon dioxide which is called the autotrophs. Okay. So either we take the energy from the organic matter or it is to be from the carbon dioxide. Okay. that is called autotrophs.